Hello folks, welcome to ScorchShortToys@AnyMoon.com's transformation guide for the Banpresto Perfect Transformation VF1. This toy comes in Battroid mode, so that's where we're going to begin. We're going to go to Gerwalk mode and end up in fighter mode. It's a pretty simple transformation. If you are familiar with the Takatoku 1/100 toys, you will be familiar with this transformation. This video is probably more for people who don't own one of these and are curious about it than it is for people who do and are trying to struggle through transformation. So, beginning, we are going to take our wings and separate them, which does mean having your arms a little forward. The backpack at that point will probably just fall right down like you saw. We can open up this trap door, which also gravity tends to do this step for you. And then we can just take the back of the toy and bring it out and get it flat, and your head laser should be right between that hole. We can just push the head down and rotate it around and bring our gun down. Now you may have a toy where bringing the guns down, like we'll see on this head here, is just an impossible thing to do. It's just not going to happen. And the way you solve that is you pop the guns off the head and you use a cell phone tool or something like that to get underneath there and pry up, and then maybe sand the little stubs of the guns down. And then after that, you will find you can actually take the guns and twist them. So they do have a tendency to get seized up on you, but you can do a little surgery on them to free them up. And then you'll be in this position here. Top of your toy should look something like this. We're going to bring this latch down. Now don't press down on the back of the latch because you might pop that piece free. Once this is down, this is the gimmick of the toy. You press the chest up and you can see it pulls the canopy out from within the nose cone. Now this does not latch together as firmly as it would on any sort of a better toy, but we can get everything in its proper position like so. Bring that backpack folded over and then come to the bottom of the toy, and we're going to bring our legs over, and you can see the legs are on individual swing bars. Bring them back, bring the Gerwalk joint up, and we can take this peg in the front of the intake. It sinks right into that slot in the chest plate and latches on there nice and securely. And we'll do the same thing with the other leg on the other side. Looking at things from the other angle, I'm going to go ahead and push my head forward, and I'll bring my wings back for the moment so I can twist my arms up and around. And you can see that does cause a wing shoulder conflict, which is a little bit of a bummer given that these arms are on hinges, the shoulders are on hinges, and should be able to sit low enough where that isn't a problem. But what we're going to do, since that leg does conflict, is just bring these arms forward a little bit. That lets you to get the wings where you want to get them, and you can get your arms in position, and then we just bring the feet back, and you are in Gerwalk mode. And obviously you can adjust those wings to however you feel looks best. Now maybe you're thinking, boy, this Gerwalk mode is a little stiff and awkward. And again, this is very much like what we got with the original, like chunky monkey Takatoku 155 or 1/100 VF1, and certainly any cheaper VF1 that happened since. Even a high complete model looks something like this in Gerwalk mode. What you can do, since there are ball joints connecting the intakes, is you can remove that peg that I showed you earlier that keeps everything nice and stiff. We can remove that from both sides. And now this is not as secure of a toy. I can push that back together. But what I can do is put them roughly back where they go, and then I can angle them out in different directions. And you get something more like a VF2SS Gerwalk mode from the intake position. But there you go, you got your legs nice and splayed. We can adjust those arms, and you can see that's at least a more natural looking Gerwalk mode, if not a very structurally sound toy. So I'm going to leave my intakes unlatched like I showed you for that quasi-Gerwalk mode. That's a little more flexible. And I'm just going to bring those legs all the way forward so I can take my arms and bring them into position, which is just like so. Now you do run into a fist conflict here, so as I bring this up and rotate this around and push this in, I do have the ability to connect the arms at that, what is a gun holder there that comes from one to the other. The thumbs may bump into each other, so you can just rotate the hands a little bit to make that less of an issue. Once that is done, we can take our legs, bring them back into position, straighten it out, close up the foot, peg in the intake peg that I showed you before for Gerwalk mode, and then we come back and you can see there's a big peg coming down from the back plate that goes into a hole in the back of the leg. So if I bring this up, I can press that into position there and really lock things together. And I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. So here is the angle from the other side, closing up the foot, bringing that down, bringing that straight, getting that intake into the slot, getting that peg into the back of the knee, pressing it in and getting it straight. And then we have our arms in between here that we're just going to kind of line up. I'm going to flip the toy over. We're going to bring the backpack down like so. And then we have these awful vertical stabilizers and this really big funky clip. And we're just going to bring the stabilizers up on that clip to that hump on top. Let's not worry too much about the angle yet. Do that on both sides, and you kind of have to walk them up the clip, get them up on top. Once they're there, you can try to angle them a little bit outward. There is a button on the top of the clip. There you go. I think that's pretty close to where you want. And there you are. You are in fighter mode. Depending on the build quality of your toy, fine-tuning could go from very mild. I would say this is pretty mild. All I have to do is really check my seams in a couple different places. To rather extreme, your toy might be falling apart at this point. There's no telling. Get your feet straight. Backpack should be level. Otherwise, you are there. Check out anymoon.com for my full article and review and a full scan of the instructions. Subscribe, and thanks for watching.